It's your boy Bryan Micheal Cox.
And it's Justice Wears Cool Pants, aka the Black Bobby Brown, even though Bobby Brown's already black.
We just jumped off the porch with Dirty Glove Bastard.
Amongst it all, put yourself on the map. Turn it to a booming operation. Where your focus at? Where your 600 bins?
All right, we got the legendary Bryan Micheal Cox and Justice Wears Cool Pants jumping off the porch with us today.
Yep.
How y'all feeling today, man?
I'm good, man. I'm fantastic.
For sure.
I'm feeling inspired, ready. I feel like it's gonna be an amazing year. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah.
The energy in March is kind of starting off, you know what I'm saying, to a good start. Don't y'all feel?
Nah, it don't feel like how it felt last year.
That's what I was saying. It feel like crazy, like I can take over the world right now. It's wild. Why y'all feel that is?
I don't know. I just feel like, you know, shifting after the pandemic, I think people, you know, it changed everybody. The pandemic changed everybody. So, you know, I think that we are very, very grateful for our lives right now. If you were living before the pandemic and really had stuff going, you had to come to a halt. I think that there's a high level of appreciation for us being able to move around and really, really, you know, do what we love. You know what I mean? And I know for me, I'm just happy to be able to do what I love. You know what I'm saying?
That's real.
Yeah.
So, tell me about coming up in Atlanta, Justice.
It's so funny because like I've been saying like this actually for like the last couple months now, but like I feel like Atlanta is like a natural resource, right? It's just like, you know how you go to like Sierra Leone to like find your diamonds? Like Atlanta is like that same thing in the United States. And for me, specifically, I got to sit in the middle of a few different things, right? Because like I'm a first generation immigrant, so like my family's from Ghana, right? So being from there, but being born here, I had like the best of like different worlds. So I was able to like see perspectives, right? So like, you know, like I'll hang out with like all the not so good niggas and you know what I'm saying? But I gotta go home, you know what I'm saying? And then, you know, my parents were strict and like, you know, my mom's like, yo, take education seriously. And you know, you'll blow it off, but I feel like that allowed me to speak so many different languages. So now that like, you know, I can relate to like the eclectic cool kid, but I can also relate to, you know, somebody that's come from the struggle, right? You know what I'm saying? So I'm able to speak both languages, and Atlanta honestly has given me like an edge in my career because I know how to finesse. Like, you know what I'm saying? I really know how to finesse, right? Like, I could put me in any room, I could talk my way out of it, and you know, really come out with some gold. So Atlanta has been amazing for me.
That's wild. It's so crazy coming up in Atlanta because it does teach you finesse. So it's like, what in some ways do you feel finesse in a good way is a trait to have? Because you know, you can fuck somebody over with ease. But it's like, if you learn finesse in the right way, you can actually prosper in a positive way.
Yeah, nah, it's like, for me, like, the idea of finesse is like, as how I take it, it's like taking what you know or taking what you see as like an opportunity and really making it work for you, right? So like, I'm just say like a random example. If, you know, you go to a club, there was a club that was popping when I was coming up called Club Miami, right? And you pull up to the club and it's like maybe 400, 500 deep. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about like a night where Rick Ross dropped EMF, right?
I was
and
like free meats. I was just ready to say free meats.
Everybody wants to like, you know what I'm saying, get in that club, right? But like, what Atlanta would taught me, because you know the club's a lot of outsiders that you know want to come in, but what Atlanta taught me is like, all right, cool, like you know it's about to be a big night, you know what I'm saying? Like when you see that line, get to the front of the line, the promoter seen you before, you know what I'm saying? You be like, yo, I'm gonna pass out your flyers for free, you know what I'm saying? Like, fuck with me, you know what I'm saying? Like, and you don't have to wait in the line, right? And like that, and I know that sounds like, you know, small, but like that tip in itself, it takes you so far because you just look for opportunity and you just are able to make it work for you.
Facts. And that promoter's gonna appreciate you 100 times just to let you in the club. There's nothing to let you in the club.
Exactly.
So legendary Mr. Bryan Micheal Cox. Coming from the city of Houston. Talking about migrating to Atlanta, but also Houston is also starting to come up as well.
The period I came to Atlanta, Houston hadn't really blown up from a music perspective yet. You know what I mean? And we had, you know, H-Town had come out. We had a few groups. It was a group called Ideal that was out. Of course, Scarface and Ghetto Boys, it was out. In 97, you know, DJ Screw was still at the house. You still had to pull up to Screw's house to get
That's
the Screw
legendary.
tape. You know what I'm saying? And what, you know, it hadn't blown up out of the city yet, you know what I mean? So I moved here in 1997. So Atlanta was like everything in 97, you know what I mean? It was like the perfect time too, because it wasn't, Atlanta was popping, but it hadn't seemed like the mega success Atlanta ended up seeing, you know what I mean, down the line, you know what I mean? So it was like the perfect time. You know, everybody was starting to converge onto the city. The locals were popping, Jermaine was popping, Dallas Austin was popping. You know what I mean? You had companies coming down here, like Noontime, like people like Tony Mercedes, people like, LaFace was a staple here. So it was the perfect time for me to transition to Atlanta. And like he said, what I learned here quickly was take advantage of opportunity, finesse, right? So when I saw the flyer on the floor, the Noontime flyer, I would call every Monday at 3 o'clock, call, just try to get an internship, try to get, in. Finally got to meet with Chris Hicks, did an internship, right? And then I fastly graduated to being like a second engineer, right? They were paying me like maybe $200 a week, like $150 a week, something like that as second engineer. And I saved like $1,000.
$250 a week?
Yeah, it was like $200.
That's nasty work.
Like $200. Right. But I saved like $1,000.
That felt like $1 million to you.
College student from Houston. My mom was paying my rent. So what, you know what I mean? Like, I had $1,000. I remember I got the $1,000. I went to Noonie. I first started with them. I went there and said, "No, man, you don't have to pay me no more. I just want a key to the studio and access. Key, give me the code. I want access. So I'll do all the work you need me to do. You want me to engineer, whatever, I'll do whatever. But when these sessions are over, I want to be able to stay in here and really, really figure out what my thing is. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't got to pay you no more.
Toss me the keys.
Here's the keys, here's the code, this, that, and the third. And literally, I would work for them for hours. Then I would spend the wee hours in the morning learning MPC, learning my way around the studio, learning all the gear that they had. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't come from that gear. I was using computers at the time, it was just early. So to come to Atlanta, everybody had MPC, and I didn't know how to use one. So I had to teach myself using MPC. Jazze was in there, he would teach me little tricks in trade or whatever. So a few months goes by, I get a call from Noon. Noon's like, hey, I want to sign you. I didn't even know where it came from. You know what I'm saying? But he was like, I want to sign you. And what happened was you never know who's watching you, right? When you're in your hustle phase, when you grind, you never know who's watching you. Jazze, Faye, and Teddy Bishop was watching me. They were watching me every day, watching me. Jazze was the one that made the call to Noon, like, hey, you might want to sign this kid, because this kid is hungry and he's developing fast. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I got in the game.
That's real.
You know what I mean?
So talk about both of you, like the community of Atlanta, because we all know we from the city. It's like a big family almost. It's like you almost one person away from knowing the right person.
Of course.
So it's like, how does it make you feel to know a legendary producer also just alley-ooped you into a good situation where you just came from making $200 a week to, okay, now I can probably do something serious further in my career?
Well, just at the time, I feel like we were all in our specific grinds. Like, Jazze had been established and was making records on, like, Tila and Keith Sweat and Dave Hollister, you know what I mean? Teddy Bishop had been established, working on Montel Jordan and Tony Braxton. And so, Noontime was basically like a new company, really. You know what I mean? Noontime was like, I guess, how LVRN was in 2012, 2013. Right. You know what I mean? It was a new company that had started having some success managing producers, and it just kind of snowballed from that perspective. And I just came at the right time of the snowball. You know what I mean? Like, it was just like I came right in mid when the snowball was about to get out of control.
When it started to a big avalanche, yeah.
And so it was right time, right place. You know what I mean? You put yourself in a position, like you said, you see an opportunity. I saw an opportunity. It was like, yo, and it was, I don't know what it was about that particular company that I was like, because I felt like at that point, when you're trying to decide what you're gonna do, and you start calling around, I was calling studios, calling other companies, back in the day, looking at the phone book, calling Dallas, DARP, calling So Def, calling, and with so many people that you had to get through to get to somebody that could even talk to you.
Thanks.
When I called Noontime and I got directly through to the person, I was like, oh, I'm gonna beat this in the head, until it cracks. You know what I'm saying? And I don't even know what made them, eventually, I guess because my persistence is, every Monday, 3:00, this guy Bryan Cox is getting ready to call.
but it's also kind of like, what I'm saying? It's kind of like, something about Atlanta just gives you the space of, we want to see each other win.
Yes.
Right? Like, I think that's a spirit in the city.
Absolutely.
Because we've been an underdog for so long, right? I feel like, as compared to like a city like New York, or even Los Angeles, it's just like, they've been major cities since they were cities, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I think in Atlanta, we always had to deal with, them not want to play our records on the radio. You know what I'm saying? We basically had to create and bum rush our own culture. So I think that like that underdog spirit, that underdog mentality carried from like, the ones that were before us into what it is now. And it just keeps on giving. Like, there's nobody that I can't call in Atlanta that's gonna like not want to see me win or have bad energy towards it, right? Because that's essentially amazing. Just makes our city more dominant, and I feel like it's just that pride, that home pride.
That's real.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So Justice, when do you feel like you picked up your new town fly? You know what I mean? What do you feel is that your first introduction to music was?
Well, I mean, I've always loved music. First of all, like I think every executive or everybody that started as an executive was like a failed artist. And like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's just what it is, right? Like, so I remember I tried to rap and I was like, oh shit, this is terrible. And you know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta be real with yourself. I'm like, nah, like I hate my voice and there's no way that this is gonna happen. But I, like I always stayed in touch with like my creativity and like my childlike self, right? And I just remember being a kid and like me loving like, Dame Dash, loving Puff, loving Russell, and like, I'm just like, but I never knew what they did. They just they just look cool on TV. I'm like, yo, what do they do? Right? Yeah. So it wasn't until like, I graduated high school and I started going to college at Georgia State my freshman year, and I'm just like, yo, like this opportunity to go to school is really my opportunity to connect dots and to really be curious, right? So, as the first day of school hit, instead of me like focusing on like accounting, I was focusing on, how do I find my way in the music industry? Because there's no blueprint, right? Thanks. So the fact that there's no blueprint, I'm like, okay, cool. Let me just start networking. So, what I'm saying? Like, this is when, again, like I'm just finessing. I'm just talking to, like all the people that run the campus, that got all the girls, da-da-da-da. And I'm just like, yo, like, actually, I know exactly how I'm gonna get popular. I'm like, damn, all these niggas that I went to school with or that I'm in school with, they don't get no girls. They can't dress. They lame. Yeah. I'm just like, I'm like, every day I'm gonna be so fly. Yeah. Every day I get to campus, they gonna see me shine every day. And my popularity kind of started to like increase on campus. And in the meantime, like there was an artist that I went to high school with, and I hit her up on Facebook. I'm like, yo, what you doing? She's like, nothing, I'm working at Arby's or some shit. And I'm like, yo, like I always loved your voice. Can I manage you? She was like, I don't know what that means, but sure. Wow. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I don't know what that means either, but cool. I'm gonna just make it look cool because that's the niggas that I grew up loving. That's what they did. Cool, whatever.
Damn, that's right.
You know what I'm saying? So, like fast forward, I helped her put together a project, and like I said, everything that I was doing ended up just coming to meet me, right? So like we put together the project. The project was dope. But like everybody around me, and I knew all the girls, and it was R&B, it was an R&B tape. I'm just giving it to the girls. Of course. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And they're like, all right, cool. Like, so they bumping it. So it becomes like a local success. But I knew that wasn't enough, right? Because where I wanted to take it, I'm like, yo, this is gonna take a real village. And again, we're talking about my inspirations, right? Like Berry Gordy, Puff, Dame, you know what I'm saying? Like they made it a family. Like their shit was, I was like, all right, cool, I gotta like create a family. And, I guess it just happened to work out for me. Like all my partners now that I went to, college with, we ended up just forming this whole thing together. And, that was my first, thrust into trying to figure it out. And, from then on, it was just trial and error. And it's still trial and error for me, but,
well, you're doing pretty good.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
That's real.
Yeah.
So, I know y'all been seeing the conversations of like the music industry is this, like everybody's have opinions on what we do and everything because they're on the outside looking in. So recently, I know y'all seen the Glorilla situation about the hired assistant thing. But coming up, people like us would have jumped at an opportunity like that. You know what I mean? So it's like, what are y'all thoughts and opinions when you see people not willing to put in the work and willing to put in the dedication like you guys did?
I think that, all right, so I see it both sides, right? I see how the people would be like, oh, that's not enough money, right? But also, I don't think people see the other side of it, right? So you have to figure out what side of the coin do you flip, and what she's trying to get across isn't for everybody, because for me, I do this for free.
Yeah.
You don't have to pay me. Like, it's just what I love to do,
right?
Right? And just give me an opportunity, and I'll figure it out from then on. So like, for them, they're seeing it as a paycheck, and somebody else is seeing it as an opportunity to get on, right? Or to not even get on, but just like to get in the room. I don't need a handout. I just need the opportunity to be able to do what I feel like God gave me, the talent to do. So it's just like, like the internet is going internet. That's just what it is. Everybody wants to have an opinion, but in real life, if you're actually doing things and you actually are like trying to advance in life, you don't even have time to comment on something that somebody's doing. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, fuck them. I don't know. That's all I got.
Yeah, that's real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you, Bryan? How do you feel about people not being able to take advantage of opportunities?
I mean, I come from a space where every opportunity was golden, right? I think that social media and the perception of access has made a lot of people lazy. You know what I mean? I think that it's made a lot of people lazy, but it's also made a lot of people
take advantage
rich.
of the opportunity.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So it's just I just think that people think that it comes easy. You know what I mean? Especially if you hear the word go viral. You hear, like, people think that going viral is an easy thing to do. You know what I mean?
People don't understand that's a strategy.
It's actually a strategy, and you don't know how many videos this person posted to get that one video to go viral. Right. You know what I mean? Like, you don't know what kind of work went behind all that. You know what I mean? I think that every opportunity is golden, man. Like I never took any opportunity for granted. Every time there was a door that I could get through, I tried to knock the door down. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and also it's just kind of like, man, like the reality of it is just like, okay, cool. Like, what was it, like $1,500 a month or something?
I forgot what it was.
Yeah,
it wasn't even a bad number, really.
It wasn't a terrible number.
Whatever it is, right? It's just like, do you even know the job description?
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, do you even know what type of perks this person gets, right? Like, do they get insurance? You know what I'm saying? They might really need it bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't know what she's offering the person, and you don't know what the person is. And also, it's just like, nigga, if you're not applying for the job, why do you want to make somebody else feel bad?
Yeah.
Like, I saw a video go viral the other day on Twitter, and it was just like, he was saying that he worked at some sort of restaurant.
The kid that they was clowning him for having a job.
And I'm just like, oh, like, the mentality is fucked up, right? Like, it's like, get rich. Yeah, we all want to get rich, right? And we all want to get this money. We all want the girls. We all want the life, right? But like, getting the life is not hard. Sustaining it is harder. That's the part that nobody really understands.
Nobody ever,
like,
you can't even explain that.
It's those fundamentals, and like, everybody's like, oh, like, like, I'm gonna be an influencer or whatever, and all that's cool, but like, those fundamentals you're still gonna need, because a 5-year run is cool, but like, I want this shit forever. Like, how can we really like keep going? Because there's nothing worse than having it and losing it. That shit sucks. You know what I'm saying? So, again, fuck them.
So what advice do you have for the people that's on the outside looking in, that are about to take this approach to try to get the money and try to, you know what I mean, take the necessary steps to get to where the life that they want to live? What advice would you give them to make sure that they are going to be able to sustain the success that comes their way?
My best advice to anybody that wants to do anything is just like, educate yourself, right? Like, I just could never understand the idea of getting in something or trying to do something and not trying to learn everything about it, right? It's just like, being good at a skill, and I can parallel it to basketball, right? Like, Kobe Bryant is Kobe Bryant not because he can shoot the basketball, because his IQ is just better than everybody.
Yes.
right? He's when he's on the court, he knows exactly what to do in every situation because he's watched every single play over and over and over again. He knows what your coach is going to call when he has the ball for 5 seconds, and he knows exactly where to stand. And it's not by accident. It's not by design. So like what I tell people is like educate yourself. Like, and especially in this space where like the internet is here and access to information is free, you can actually get interviews like this, and I'm sure there's a million more on the internet. Like, there's no excuse to not be able to get the education that you needed, because when I was, trying to grind, like I would give anything for any sort of, any sort of gems or, insight. And it's just like, anything, right? And it's just like, and it's just like also just like stop chasing your tail. Like, work smarter, not harder. As in, stop going to the same showcases over and over and over again and doing the same thing. If you're gonna just keep going to the same showcases, like, figure out how to like make this the moment when you're gonna go, right? Like, if you're gonna do something, make it count. Don't try to put something in front of somebody twice, because that shit's the worst. Oh yeah, like I gave you my mixtape, I frisbee it, and you come back again. It's like, nah, like I want the first time that you hear for it to be the one.
Yeah, leave an impression.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just like,
and you don't have, you don't get too many chances to make you can't make a first impression twice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you gotta take advantage.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So when would you guys say you realized that your blueprint was actually working? Because I like what you said earlier, there's no official blueprint on how to get any success in this business. So when did you guys realize, okay, what I'm doing is actually working? Me studying every day is actually working. Me going to the studio, learning these pieces of equipment is actually working.
Yeah.
Me passing out these CDs to the girls on campus is actually working.
I know for me, the reason why I got into music, or I got into like entrepreneurship in general, again, and the reason why I want to be loud about it is because it's about inspiring people that were just like me, right? So when I knew that it was working was when people would come up to me that I never met before and say, yo, I'm really inspired by what you're doing. And I'm just like, damn, that means a lot. And I don't mean that like, just like, oh, like, all right, cool, that means a lot, and like, let's move on. But like, no, it really means a lot, because that's why I do this, right? So for me, that's the gratification that I needed. You know what I'm saying? Like, the success, the accolades, like the travel, all that's cool, but like that part of affecting people and affecting how people like see and change and how they see the world, that's the most important part to me, because that's what this is all about.
Yep. I mean, I think for me, when I realized it was working, I might have been in year 4 of my career, because the first couple years of my career, I just really had my head down and was like working, making tracks, writing songs, you know what I mean? And I looked up and it was like, I started a run, and I didn't realize it. Like, I didn't realize I started a run. It kind of was, as money was coming, I just was living. My mom was managing me at the time, so it wasn't like I was out there spending money. I was just kind of just still a kid.
You were surviving.
Yeah, I was still a kid in a lot of ways too. Like, we had paper, but my mom just was saving it. You know what I mean? So I was still a kid in a real way in that space. I remember when I brought my head up like for air, and realized, you have like 7 songs on the radio, and I'm in the studio with JD, and I'm doing this, and I realized how many artists I worked with. And then people started recognizing, mind you, at this point, I wasn't like visible, you know what I mean? Like, I was still very, very much so behind the scenes. When people started recognizing your name and started requesting, artists started requesting me, like big name artists, like Aaliyah started asking, like, yo, I want to work with that guy. Like, wait. You know what I'm saying? Like, just 5 years ago, I was in my, my room playing this album, hoping to get a glimpse of who this person might be. And now they're asking to work with me. I was very, very overwhelmed with that when it finally hit me.
Did you ever drop tears of joy?
Huh?
Did you ever drop tears of joy?
I'm sorry?
Did you ever drop tears of joy in that moment?
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because it was just a dream, like my dream my whole life. You know what I'm saying? I would tell my 5th grade teacher I was going to be a producer. 5th grade. I didn't really know. All I know is I watched a documentary on PBS that was, the documentary was called, We Love Quincy. It was a BBC documentary that they showed on PBS in Houston called We Love Quincy, and it basically was showing Quincy, like a day in the life of Quincy, and it was like they were filming the Thriller video, and he was planning some crazy event for some gala, producing Donna Summer. It was like all these different things that was going on. I remember being so amazed at this documentary, like, oh, that's what I want to do in my life. With Quincy Jones and Teddy Riley, those were reasons why I wanted to be a producer. I didn't really know what it meant. I just knew that that's what I wanted to do. So just imagine me in 5th grade, and then, 19, you have, you start having a string of hits. It's like crazy.
Now fast forward a couple years later, we 35 number ones, 9 Grammy wins, 100 million records sold.
Yeah.
How does it feel looking back like, yo, I really did the shit?
It's humbling for me. It's crazy because I think it's had a reverse effect on me than it had on like some other peers. Like, it's almost like I strive for, like to hit certain points for me. And I don't really advertise it, I don't really talk to, you know what I mean? Like, only reason why people know these things is because other people advertise it. You know what I'm saying? So I had to start advertising it when other people was advertising it, you know what I mean? But it's humbling.
You gotta pop your shit, man. You a legend.
I feel you, but I'm saying, like, at my big age now, I understand the importance of popping shit. So, you know what I mean? And I could do it from a perspective now, from a teachable perspective now. You know what I mean? And we all go through our ego shit. I did like a 2-year, 3-year ego thing where I was wearing a whole lot of jewelry and buying Bentleys and had houses. I did that. I did do that, but it was very, very quick, fast. It was very, very short-lived because, to the core, all I ever wanted to do was make music for all these people, and to have all these people on my, discography, people that I looked up to, people I inspired, who were inspired by me, or that inspired me. It's a crazy thing. Like me and my mother talked about this the other day. She was just like, look at your life. Like, you really, said these things, you spoke these things in existence, and you put the work behind it. And for me, that's all. That I'm just happy, man. Like, I'm a happy person. You know what I'm saying?
That's real. So, Justice, when you, Tunde, Sean, Carlin, and Jenya came together and formed the label, did y'all predict the success that was coming your way?
Yeah, I did.
You got to see it first.
Yeah,
you got to see it first.
I didn't know when it was going to happen. I didn't know how it was going to happen. I knew it would happen. And for me, it's just like, I just turned 30, right? And I'm just like, I feel like I'm just getting started because now I understand. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I done put my 10,000 hours. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know exactly how to communicate. I know exactly when I thought that I was ready for something, but I wasn't. And I'm like, damn, because I remember I used to like, damn, I want to be able to get a deal. I want to be able to sign, and it just wouldn't happen. Everything would just be so slow. But I realized that if I would have got those opportunities then, I would have fucked them up and I would not be here today. Mm-hmm. So it's really all about timing, right? So knowing that, I'm just like, I knew we would be successful. And you know what I'm saying? Because I just think that, like, God blessed us, you know what I'm saying? Like in a key way, but more importantly, like, I just worked harder than everybody. Like, I remember being in high school and in college, like, I'm talking about friends that, like, were my best friends. And I'm like, yo, like, I'm gonna do this music thing. This before, like, music was, like, something that everybody wanted to do. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But, like, it was like, yo, like, it's a terrible idea. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're gonna drop out of college to do music and you don't sing and you don't rap? Like, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, but I believe, you know what I'm saying? I believe, but I didn't just believe in myself. I just believed that, like, my work ethic was just gonna get me there. And, for me, I was just like, I used to work at Nordstrom too. And so I'm in college, I'm working on the women's shoes floor at Nordstrom. You know what I'm saying? I'm grinding, I'm doing music, like, all in one day, right? Do this all in one day, every day, repeat, every day, repeat. But then I was just like, I looked at it and I was just like, yo, it can't be any worse than it is. Like, meaning, like, if I don't make it in music, cool, I guess I'm back here selling women's shoes. Like, can't be any worse. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, just roll the dice and do what you love, right?
You can always go back and sew women's shoes.
You know what I'm saying? But like, for me, it wasn't an option, right? Like, Will Smith had that quote where it's just like, plan B distracts you from plan A, right? Because like, there's no point of a plan B. If you have a plan A in your mind, it's gonna work. It's gonna work. And that's just how I always looked at it. So, yeah, I know that was a long way to answer your question, but I really feel that.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Being that you come from an African family, what was your mother's reaction when you told her you were dropping out of college?
God, my nigga. It was, like, I broke her heart. Like just like straight up. Like, I remember it was like a whole thing, you know what I'm saying? It was just like, oh, I sacrificed my whole life to bring these guys here. You know what I'm saying? This is what he wants to do. I'm just like, yo, believe in me, believe in me. And like, it broke her heart for a little bit, but she saw how serious I was about it in terms of like I said, like, I didn't sleep. Like, not even like on some like grind hard all day, don't sleep. I actually just didn't have time because I fit all these things in one day. And she's like, oh, like, he really cares about this, right? And after a while, like, as time went on, she kind of like, got used to the idea of like, okay, cool, like, it just is what it is. He's not gonna finish school, so I guess whatever it is, cool. And I'm just like, nah, I got it. And now she's super proud of me, you know what I'm saying? Like, because I think African parents in general, like, their conversations with other friends is just about what their kids are doing. Like, when they go to church or when they you know what I'm saying? Like, when they like at a function, it's just like, yo, like, so what's your kid doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, all they want to be is like, yeah, he's in school, or like, he got married or whatever it is. And for me, there was no talking point. What's she gonna say? Like,
he's out pursuing music. He's still pursuing music. Passing out flowers for songs.
You know what I'm saying? He's getting it popping. So I'm just like, there's no talking point, right? So I think now it's just like, now it's dope. Even I remember even my dad, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he was all fucked up, but like now, he teaches, right? And he's like, yo, like, his college students come up to him all the time, like, yo, like, that's your son? I fuck with him. And so now he's super proud of that. You know what I'm saying? So, just stay down.
Yeah. I mean, and, music is always, when you have to tell your family, especially, you said a family from the continent or a family from the Caribbean, because the same thing. Like, it's like, luckily my mother was actually pouring to me the music stuff, you know what I mean? But like, I remember I telling my grandfather, like, oh, I'm being in the music business, and my grandfather's a preacher from Ackland's corner, the Bahamas, you know what I mean? He's looking at me upside my head like,
you're doing the devil's music.
Yeah, exactly, number one. But then of course, and I knew that things had shifted when he started like bragging about me. He would start telling, you know what I mean? Like, the Mary J. Blige song, my son.
Bro, that's my mom's favorite song. I had to tell you that.
That's crazy.
I would never forget. I did some crazy stuff to get like $10, and I made my big cousin take me to like Walmart so I can buy my mom that breakthrough album for Christmas.
Wow, that's fire.
That's an amazing story.
That just gave me chills.
That was wild.
That was wild. Story. Yeah, man. And you understand, think things like that. Like, we in the studio making records, like, we just hope that people, if we feel it, hopefully y'all feel it. You know what I mean? And whenever I hear stories like that's like, I always hear random stories like that about certain albums, certain artists, certain things I've worked on. I'm just like, what we do is magical. You know what I mean? It's like really, really magic,
And now that y'all are the leaders of the new culture, how do y'all feel the responsibility is weighing on you?
All right. So for me, here's what it is, right? Like, the responsibility for me is I just want to make it look cool to be smart, right? Like, there's no nigga out here that I believe is cooler than me, and I'm smarter than all these niggas.
Fact.
You know what I'm saying? So like, that's my agenda. It's just like, I just want kids, to really just like, I want to sell them inspiration, right? Like, that's really what I care about. And inspiration in the music and inspiration in the business of it, right? Like, being an entrepreneur is a responsibility because you employ other people, right? Like, you're taking care of other people's families, right? And for me, just like that perspective is what I want people to take serious, and that's kind of what I feel like my responsibility is here in this space, because, you know, like, I'm not him. I can't write a song, right? And like, his experience and what his responsibility is completely different. But for me, you know, my responsibility is just like, is to inspire and to lead in the example of, you know, like, being talented, being dope, getting women, getting money, traveling, all that. You can do all that and still be smart, and it's cool.
It's just as cool.
It's cool.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, to add on to that, I think that my responsibility is to use my wisdom, pass my wisdom down. You know what I mean? I feel like a lot, like when I tell people, you know, you should be able to do the math. If you don't know, tell you how old I am, you should be able to do the math, right? So, but a lot of people are surprised, even when I'm like, yo, hey, I'm 45. They're like, what? You know, because you have this young spirit. For me, it's because I was young, and I know what happened to me when people passed wisdom down to me and how that affected my success, right? So I'm in a space where, like, yo, when I watch everybody who've been successful, they keep young people around them at all times. When you're in a room, and if I'm the youngest person in the room, I want to get out the room. You know, just to keep it real. Like, if I look around and it's like, okay, there's nobody younger than me in here. Oh, it's time for me to get out the room. I mean, unless I'm with my family, or, you know, Essence Fest or something. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? But I'm talking about in a room where creativity is going on, or where business is going on, because the business is always changing. You know, like, literally the model, like, they have defined the new model. You know what I mean? And a lot of us got left behind because we didn't want to accept it. We didn't want, you know what I mean? We didn't want to be in a room with them. We were talking about how the old model, you know, be smug about.
Yeah, I ain't really selling no records.
Yeah, we sold records. I want to be able to say, yeah, I sold a lot of records then, and I'm selling records now.
Facts.
You know what I mean?
That's
and I'll be able to sell records in the future. Like, I don't want to be that old man in the club, you know what I mean, talking about
Quincy did.
what used to be.
At 50?
Exactly. I'm saying Quincy Jones is my North Star. You know what I mean? He's my North Star. He produced Off the Wall at 48 and Thriller at 50. Thriller, this guy, they thought, they counted him out. Oh, he's a jazz guy. He did Count Basie, and the only dance records he made was the Brothers Johnson, and this, that, and the third. And did back-to-back monumental breakthrough albums in his late 40s going into 50. You know what I mean? I'm already a step ahead, because I've never stopped making records. I've had hit records every decade of my life that I've been making records. I've had at least one. You know what I mean? So I feel like I'm head of the game in regards to that. You know what I'm saying?
Real.
So my responsibility is to not hog that, not be in a space with young creatives like, y'all ain't shit. I need to be in a space with young creatives like, yo, hey, this is what I've learned throughout the years. I need to know what you know too, because y'all are creating the new platforms. You're pioneering the way that people consume music. So I need to know that shit. So I got something to give you, you have something to give me. Let's work together and build some shit.
That's real.
You know?
That's real. Justice, how do you feel about the state of R&B today?
State of R&B is in a good space in terms of talent, right? Mm-hmm. Like, talent is there, right? And the artists are there, but I think what it is that people, fuck it. Everybody wants R&B to be in the space that it was in the 90s or it was in the 2000s. But like, why is R&B the only genre that's not allowed to grow, right? We've allowed all these other genres to grow. Hip hop is not what it was when Nas was at the height of his career.
Absolutely.
Right? But like R&B is like, it's dead because it's not what it was when, you know, Jodeci and Mary were, you know, at their highest. It's like, no, it's just translating a bit different. So I'm cool with where R&B is now. Now the only issue is just like R&B needs the energy, right?
Yeah.
Like hip hop takes over the space of conversation, meaning like you have a platform right here, right? Like this is primarily a hip hop, conversation, and hip hop news travels. You're able to find out about your favorite hip hop artist or rap artist because there is an industry around it. It's not just the music. As R&B, it's just the music and it's quiet as fuck.
Quiet.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, how can we make this shit so loud? You know what I'm saying? It's like, I'm like, yo, fuck it. We gonna come here. We gonna come to exactly where the people are. And, we gonna give R&B energy and put, like that space behind it. You know what I'm saying? Like when I was doing, Summer's first album, I remember like, our partner at Interscope was just like, yeah, she's gonna do like, 50,000 first week. And I'm like, I'm outside.
Yeah.
Like I'm outside. Like I know what the girls are on.
Yeah.
They're like, nah, like this is her first album, you know what I'm saying? Like, no way. No way. And I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. So we dropped the album, the first day the album is going crazy. It's breaking all sorts of, records on Apple Music. And I'm just like, okay, what are your projections now? He's like, all right, we gotta wait one more day. The next day came out, I was like, all right, cool, you're gonna do 70,000. I'm like, nah, you're not outside. You're not really outside, because I'm outside. And I'm telling you right now, every girl I know is playing this album, and niggas. So I'm just like, then the next day came about, like, all right, cool, she's projected 120. And I'm like, yeah. But more importantly, it's just like, that's needed because like that's the energy, right? That forces, like people to pay more attention to R&B.
Exactly.
And it really becomes a culture, and like it really becomes a thing where like now the hottest parties in the city are R&B parties.
Yep.
Shout out to my sister Kim Chanel. She throw the craziest R&B parties in the city, man.
Shout out her. You know what I'm saying? But like, that if you want to find a girl, you go to R&B party.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? If you want to dance, you go to R&B party. So it's just like, it's just that energy that's just gonna have to continuously move it. And like even like what SZA's doing right now, like she's #1 10 weeks. Like,
just broke 10 weeks.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, I think this too, right? Cause shameless plug, I do an R&B party every Wednesday, ladies of R&B.
Shout out Bryan. Hey, you gotta hit up Bryan party too,
Shout out to
y'all.
my man Keith. We've been doing it for 6 years, and people thought that it was the same thing. People thought that we were crazy. Want to do an R&B party on a Wednesday night, on the slowest night in club history, all around the world. No Wednesday night was popping. That's hump day. People don't go out Wednesday night.
Thanks.
We changed that dynamic, and it's because of the energy of this music. People want to hear this music, and it surprised me because before that I was going to R&B parties and they were like old school parties. You go to the party and it feel like it's an old school party. But then when these parties start feeling new, it's like, and then these new artists are coming out and making dope music we can actually program inside of these parties now. You know what I mean? So it's like, I'm watching the energy just balloon into something beautiful. You know what I mean? And like you said, we have to continue to put the energy into it like that. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
It needs to be a movie. Like, they gotta come outside and feel it. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it's a lot of great artists, like I said, like Summer, Black, Brent Fayez, SZA, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, niggas is doing dope shit, and there's real energy in it, and it's just like, it's just the beginning. Like, I think rap's in trouble, honestly.
Facts.
Yeah.
I definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
Being that you are the head of LVRN, how do you feel about the comparisons that comes between, SZA and Summers when they actually make great music? You know what I mean? It's like, it's a love between them two, but the fans throw their negative opinions in sometimes, and it kind of, diffuses and dilutes the connection of the music.
Listen, like, at the end of the day, fans are gonna do what fans are gonna do. Period. That's the point of being a fan, right? Like, the fact that you like the Lakers and I might like the Celtics, we need that because that makes the stage bigger, right? So I'm not mad at that, right? And also it's just like, it's healthy competition. It's like, nah, like, I just did album 10 weeks. What you got?
What you got? What you got going?
What you got? You know what I'm saying? Like, we need that. I think when it becomes weird or when it becomes like counterproductive is when it starts becoming personal.
Yeah.
It's like, nah, let's just talk about the music. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's go back and forth on that. You know what I'm saying? Like, Jay and DMX, like, were back to back, 1 and 2.
Yeah, 1 and
you know
2.
what I'm saying? But like, they were challenging each other, right? Like, you know, Drake, Kendrick, Cole. You know what I'm saying? Like, you need that energy because it makes everybody better. But you know, it's just like understanding that it's a sport and keeping it just there, and also just like it's one thing to say, but it's also to reaffirm it, right? So like for me, you know, any opportunity that we have, you know what I'm saying, like when we were putting together like, you know, the last album, you know what I'm saying, like how can we get SZA on it? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, if Summer has a show or if SZA has a show, like any opportunity that we get to put them together to be able to show the love and they actually reciprocate in real time doesn't make the outside shit get to them.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? So like that's the effort that I put into it, into like, you know, try to make sure that the girls, like, you know, people just stay together, honestly.
No, that's real.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So you got to tell the world how you looked up on having the 2 greatest mentors and friends in music business, Bryan Micheal Cox and Jermaine Dupree.
I remember the first day I met JD. Actually, another mentor of mine, L.A. Reid, introduced me.
He just shamelessly threw that in there. Shout out.
He really did. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He introduced me. He was like, yo, like, I was like, yo, is that Jermaine? He was like, yeah. I was like, I want to meet him. He's like, all right, cool. I'm gonna introduce you. So he introduced me. He's like, you know, he obviously did his LA thing, and my first words to JD was like, yo, you're the GOAT, but I just want to let you know that I'm going to be better than you. And if anybody knows Jermaine, he's like, all right. It's like, that's just what he's on, right? Like, he's a competitor too, so, right? But I think from that moment, you know, like, just coming around him and just being humble about it, you know what I'm saying? Just like, yo, like, I want to learn, you know what I'm saying? I have no ego, you know, like, I don't know everything, but one thing I do know is that you're fucking great at what you do. And there's a lot of things that you could teach me, and there's a lot of things that I know that I can share, you know what I'm saying? And we kind of just started to build off of that. And, you know, Bryan has, again, like he said, he's been outside.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? He's really just been outside. He never stopped being outside.
Atlanta
like,
GOAT, man.
Yeah, like, Jermaine's a little bit like, you know what I'm saying, like, to himself, but like, he's outside, and like, and we just started building, you know what I'm saying? We started making music, you know what I'm saying, doing projects together, and we realized that, like, wait, we all see the world differently, but also we all see the world the same.
Yeah.
Right? And it just became these, like, A&R meetings that we would do.
Yeah.
We'll just talk shit. We'll just, like, go through albums and break them down and, like, you know what I'm saying, like, say who missed and who didn't. You know what I'm saying? Like, we just be going through it, and, like, we just be sharpening each other's skills. So, like, for me, I'm blessed to have, like, a really good Rolodex of, like, you know, people that I know I can call if ever I was down, you know what I'm saying, like, and will help me out. So, yeah.
That's real. That's real. Bryan, how do you feel about some of your peers that didn't get to make it to the viewpoint that you actually want to get to? And I've just seen recently that Usher and L.A. Reid just launched a joint label themselves.
They launched a label.
Announced?
They announced it a couple days, like a week ago.
Oh, man, he not playing.
So for me, I guess it didn't hit me until I was like hanging out in other places and I wouldn't see the people that was my age or people that I came up in the music business with. I wouldn't even say my age, just people that I didn't, you know, that I came in the music business with. And they were going to certain places that I felt were kind of played out and kind of, you know, had lost its way. And you know, I'm hanging out in East Atlanta and going, you know, this is from 2010 to 2016 when that, you know, when Ponce was popping, Edgewood was popping. It's just a different
energy.
It just felt, for me, it was a breath of fresh air. You know what I'm saying? And when I looked around, I noticed that the only people that was going over there that was remotely anything like me was Dallas, but Dallas been going over there. You know, that was, you know, Dallas, that was what, he wasn't doing the stuff we were doing anyway. You know what I mean? He was always over there. And I think that's what actually got me over there. Dallas actually invited me to something, and I ended up going over there and being like, oh, this shit is amazing. I'm coming to hang out with y'all, you know, and that's how I ended up hanging out in that circle. I realized, I was like, this is the movement. Like, it's not, at the time it wasn't the mainstream movement yet, but I felt like this is bubbling. This is where the energy is. And for me, that's all I give a fuck about. You know what I'm saying? Where's the energy? Where's the new energy? You know what I'm saying? You know, and not in a real superficial, surface kind of way. You know what I mean? I want to dig in the roots and see like, okay, where is this shit coming from? You know what I mean? And what is this culture? What are these youngins doing in this culture? And how can I be a part of it? You know what I'm saying? And also, you know, pass some of my wisdom down. Like I've always been in that space. So, you know, I also like to have a good time.
Facts.
So if I'm not having a good time, I got to find a good time.
Oh, yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
He lit.
So that's another thing too. It's like I wasn't having a good time in the spaces that were like the hot spots. I'd be like, yo, I'm not having a good time at all, you know? And I gotta find a good time. You know what I mean? A good natural fun. And to me, I find the fun in newness. You know what I mean?
That's real. Justice, you're quoted a lot of times. Why do you feel A&R is a lost art?
I feel like A&R is a lost art for a bunch of different reasons. Mainly, what I realized, I blame his generation, because his generation and the generation before, they started to not value the artist. As in, like, labels and executives won't spend time with building with the artists. They will just do them dirty. And now we're in a space to where artists are like, man, fuck the labels, you know what I'm saying? Fuck everything, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna just do this shit myself. And essentially what ended up happening was, I don't need you to find me. I can just make the best thing that I can do and put it up and go straight to my audience. And I don't need you to be able to give me the opportunity. Fuck my A&R. Fuck A&Rs in general.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you serve no purpose, because now I'm popping, you gonna hit me because you see my numbers going. What I need you for?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, A&R started like, you know, like doing the thing where it's just like, it's only data based. You know what I'm saying?
Chasing the heat.
Yeah, chasing the heat, going off of no gut. You know what I'm saying? Like no vision. And I'm just like, oh, like, yeah, y'all niggas done killed the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, literally, right? But the reason why I feel like, you know, like the great ones or the great people that, you know, like change the course of how, you know, music is consumed or like how people find music is it gets back to the basics. It gets back to like, yo, do I believe in this nigga? Is he great? Is he talented? How does song sound? All right, cool, he ain't got swag. All right, cool, don't worry. I'm gonna take him shopping, I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna tell him exactly how to, like, you know what I'm saying, put that shit on. Yeah,
Exactly.
all right, cool, this is how you talk, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna give him the game, you know what I'm saying? And all right, cool, like, you need to do a song with what beat you need? All right, oh, I know them, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna call, I'm gonna connect it, da-da-da. Like the A&R is really supposed to be like the artist shooter. That's just how I felt, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, got you down no matter what, and I just feel like that shit just got lost. So now I'm just trying to reinvent or re-establish what that, you know, what that's supposed to be in, you know, in this day and age.
No, that's real.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite things about LVRN is y'all don't really necessarily chase what's hot.
Yeah.
Y'all build from the ground up.
Every success we built from the ground up.
Yeah.
That's the real.
Yeah.
So why do y'all feel labels are scared to take chances on artists with no hot records or no major numbers or anything like that?
Because these niggas don't believe in themselves.
Yeah, they don't believe themselves.
They don't believe in themselves, bro. These niggas I'm in the rooms with them, bro. They have no guts. They don't know what it takes.
Let me tell you what they believe in. What they believe in is that check every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That's what they're slaves to.
Yeah.
These A&R executives are slaves to that check. If you getting $6,000 a month, $7,000 a month, whatever they paying you, they are like, man, I got a mortgage to pay, I got a private school, I got whatever. So if this data saying this, I'm going with the data. I'm not, because they can't afford no L in their mind. You know, if you present something and it's an L, and it's a high chance you lose your job. You know what I mean? So we don't have enough, like you said, people with gut.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there was an era of A&R, especially when I came up, that it was all good. You know what I mean? It wasn't even, some did data, but it was all good. There are people like, unsung people like Kenny Ortiz who discovered SWV and the Neptunes. Like,
L.A. Reid, straight good.
L.A. Reid's really old school. Like that. And we know him. I'm talking about people we don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Butt Naked Tim Dog, who was the original Uptown guy before Puff. You know what I mean? Like, all these people did was they moved with what they felt. You know what I'm saying? And if it worked, they reaped the benefits. If it didn't, okay, cool. But they were willing to take the risk.
Yeah, niggas is scared to lose.
Niggas
right?
is not want to take the risk.
Scared to lose, also because again, it's funny. Drake said a line, like I hate a privileged rapper, like like I hate a privileged executive. Like these niggas ain't never put their own money up. You know what I'm saying? Like they ain't never.
That's nothing too.
They ain't never had to risk nothing.
Right.
So it's just like for them, it's just like, all right, cool, I'm a coast. But for me, like I came from a space of you eat what you kill, right? So like, if I believe in something and it don't hit, cool. I gotta just like any hustle. I fuck my money up. I gotta
figure this out.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? But like, again, like privileged executives, bro, they suck.
Suck.
Honestly.
You know what I mean?
So Bryan, what do you feel is your responsibility as the new appointed role of Senior Vice President of LVRN? Congratulations on that, by the way.
Appreciate it, thank you. For me, it's simple. I wanted to work with a group of people who were like-minded, who were shifting the culture, and who I knew we've already been working together, and it's been a great, process already. And it was something I felt like I wanted to do, like I didn't need to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like I think a lot of people that will probably come their way are looking for a job and don't really understand the culture of this company. You know what I'm saying? And I hung out with Justice enough. We spent a lot of time together. Spent a lot of time, with Tunde, and my things like, I just loved the energy and the actual how they move. Period. You know what I'm saying? I've never had a job. I'm an entrepreneur just by default because of,
right.
I
literally eat what you kill.
I literally have to eat what I kill, and I have to try to keep it, and I got to have a business structure and all kinds of shit. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it just was a desire of mine. I felt like it was just the thing to do, because at the time we were talking about it, he was asking me I was trying to suggest people to him to hire. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And then it just hit me that night when I went home, and I was like, because I've been talking to a few record companies about, rocking with them. I had a few meetings because people had asked me to do something, and the thing that wasn't attractive to me about those other opportunities were these major labels don't have no culture. You know what I mean? These major labels is all data, it's all numbers. Now, mind you, it's numbers with us too, but that's not what leads us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you go to a major label, it's like they ain't signing no unknown, you know what I mean? Or if they are, it's very, very lackluster support. You know what I mean? It's not, it's not an A&R with a vision. It's not a chairman with a vision for an artist. You know what I mean? What I appreciate and what I have acknowledged about LVRN is that these guys have vision.
Facts.
And they've empowered executives with vision too. Like Amber is a visionary. You know what I mean? Like they've empowered people who have the desire to push, to push the envelope. And that was something that was really attractive to me.
That's real. Justice, how did it make you feel to know that you can put one of your mentors in position in your business, in your company?
For me, it's obvious.
Facts.
It's just like, what's going on? Like
I ain't got to think about it.
Yeah, it's like what's going on?
Yeah.
But then again, I realized that like these privileged executives,
Yeah.
bro. Like everybody's just thinking in this small space of what everything is supposed to be. And when I'm trying to get at it, I'm like, there are no rules. Literally.
Literally no rules.
Like, I just saw today that you can recreate a nigga's voice.
AI is going
Like
crazy.
literally.
There's literally
Recreate a version.
no rules.
Yeah, no rules.
The music industry is the only thing that decides to never grow because everybody just stays stuck in this pod. And I'm like, how are you major labels that have access to infinite money aren't hiring the niggas that do music?
Crazy.
Is this not a music company? Hello?
Right.
Like, you just got a nigga off the street? Like,
You know what too?
shit don't even add up.
It don't add up.
It don't.
And I feel like niggas don't care. Like another thing I really appreciate about Justice, and what they do at LVRN is that you could tell that they fucking care. They wake up in the morning caring about their shit, caring about their company, caring about their artists. You know what I mean? And I just saw a clip. Michael B. Jordan said, like, if you don't care about your own shit, nobody's gonna care.
Right.
You know what I mean? You have to care. You have to be the one. You have to be the one that gets up, self-motivates your fucking self. You have to care. You know what I mean? And these motherfuckers don't care.
No, they don't. Somebody else's money they playing with.
Yeah. And if they lose a job, they'll go and get another job.
Yeah.
Until, I see people who, like you said, privileged executives who are forever executives.
Yeah. No, it's
ridiculous.
It's just like a nepo baby, right? Like, it's just like.
And not even moving up, like in the same position in each different company. You know what I mean?
Just different label.
Yeah, different label. Like it's like, oh, okay,
moving.
well, I got, I left this label, now I'm running this. You just left being an A&R director here to being an A&R director here, making the same amount of money.
You just took off your Wendy's hat to put on the McDonald's hat.
Yeah, basically.
Just moving back and forth. And like, that's your hustle, that's cool.
Cool.
That's cool. I'm not
judging
hustle.
nobody.
Not everybody's supposed to have this level of intensity, level of passion. You know what I'm saying? But like, that's why I feel like we're here to like affect culture in a real way. You know what I'm saying? Affect how niggas really look at shit, right? Because all these other niggas that are in the middle are just like, they're confusing niggas. It's just like, move out the way. Move out the way. And if you're watching this, just move out the way and create space for niggas that really care about this shit, right?
Yeah.
Cause like, man,
100%, bro.
This shit's so disrespectful. But, I get frustrated to talking about it.
Nah, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Cause I too get frustrated.
Yeah.
To see, like, I have friends that obviously we all work in this business. Atlanta is like a beautiful community. We have this small group of playmakers in Atlanta. We all are different resourceful to each other as well in different positions. We oftentimes, I feel, don't get the chances we deserve because, like you're saying, niggas are in the way. People will take up space instead of give opportunity.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So how do you navigate in a situation where your back is against the wall and you don't know where to go, but you just know you want to go up?
Just like anything. For me, life is like Vegas. When everybody's doing the same thing or when you don't know when to move,
Go the other way.
That's when you risk. That's when you just
Bet
crack
it all.
Because it's just like, what are you gonna do? Niggas are in the way and you're just gonna just try to play the in the way game? Like, nah, fuck it. I'm gonna just go shoot this half-court shot and piss everybody off or make everybody happy. One or the other, right?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, it's one or the other. And
There's no middle ground.
Yeah, the niggas that's like sometimey wanna like get along with everybody and wanna be friends with everybody. It's like, nah, bro, like, you're not really here for the right reasons. And like the right reasons, and obviously like, let's calculate the risk, like, like let's like have a real conversation. But also it's just like I said, it's just moving off of gut. Like, it's just like, nah, this feels right. You know what I'm saying? Like, and if I fail, it's all good because like I'm gonna learn something, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna learn something. I feel like, one of the best pieces of advice I ever got was like, yo, if you're gonna fail fast. Don't fail slow. Like that slow shit. Like niggas just like, I'm scared. Like, nah, just go ahead and do it.
Jump down.
Just go ahead and just go. Oh, cool. You learned your lesson. You figured it out. I bet. Now move on. You know what I'm saying? Like, niggas be failing for 10 years slowly. I'm like, yo, my nigga. Like,
You could have figured that shit out in year one, brother.
It's crazy, but yeah.
No, it's a fact. It's a fact.
That's real. I feel oftentimes, right, you can learn from our OGs and our leaders, right? Bryan, you come from an era where straight hit maker, right? Nowadays, I feel music is probably not received as well as it could be because I feel like, I like to say, the recipe is missing ingredients. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of artists aren't taking necessary steps to develop.
Yeah.
So what do you feel younger artists need to do so they can expand and grow their own music and their own craft?
It's interesting because I think that we talked about this earlier, I think there's two types of artists now, right? There's the artist who understands marketing and, getting themselves, from point A to point B and understanding how to get themselves through the network, through the social networking situation, but they're not as talented. And then you got people who are super talented who's terrible at marketing, right?
Oh yeah.
So it's really trying to find a happy medium, right? And this is where record companies have to evolve, which is why why LVRN is so important. Record companies have to evolve because you have to be able to identify this, right? I think what I tell an artist is that continue to work on your craft. You know what I mean? Work on your craft. You know what I mean? Like, if you're good at marketing, cool. But you should be smart enough to know your music is not as good. So work on your craft. You know what I mean? Like, if something's not breaking out, figure out why it's not breaking out. You know what I mean? For me, and even watching artists from my era who are still relevant, like a Beyonce or like a Usher, motherfuckers work hard, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't play when it comes to their craft. You know what I'm saying? Because if you are good, if you are great at what you do, you know what I mean? That makes the job of marketing and getting your records out there so much more easier. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like it's so funny because it's just like what's happening now is music is creating an opportunity for a lot of people to live in the middle, right? You don't have to be a superstar to have a good career or to make money, right? So people are comfortable being in the middle. And there's nothing wrong with being in the middle at all, you know what I'm saying? But like, identifying your goals, I feel like helps the shit. But like, a reason, like the missing ingredient really in this shit with a lot of niggas as to why like their music doesn't go to the next level or why it doesn't feel the same. Like, these things ain't got shit to say. They really have nothing to say.
Yeah.
No, they really have nothing
shit.
to say. If you think about it, you listen to all these songs and you're like, damn, but the common denominator that stays a common denominator. It wasn't until Drake made God's Plan then it became the biggest song, his biggest song. He has something to say, right? You always have to have something to say. It doesn't matter what genre it is. It could be R&B, it could be hip hop, whatever it is. The biggest niggas always has something to say. And they have a message to the world. And like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they affect niggas. We were talking about Dolph earlier, you know what I'm saying? Like, you affect the people, right? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you gotta affect people. And you can go from a street artist, or you can go to a emotional rock and roller, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, Kurt Cobain has something to say, right? It don't matter.
Got something to say.
And these niggas they have nothing, bro.
Yeah.
They don't even know what they're talking about.
A lot of these niggas talking about some bullshit. They dropping some bullshit.
They don't know what they're talking about. And my thing is not even on some like, oh, I gotta be conscious or like I gotta like heal the world or save the world. Nah, fuck all that. I'm just saying, like, give me your story.
Right.
Like, actually detail what the fuck happened to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, or what the fuck you're going through. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, these niggas ain't got nothing to say, bro.
No matter
That's
what area you come from life, whether you a street nigga, regular person, blue collar, made, or whatever, if you talking about some relatable life experience, your music should connect.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
It's the common denominator. It never changes.
Facts.
Yeah.
What do y'all feel is the future of LVRN? And congratulations on the $100 million venture, man. Let's talk about that.
Man, thank you, man. Thank
Clap
you.
it up for my
we'll
boy.
clap out for that.
Real
right?
black excellence right there,
I'm saying?
man.
That's not an easy feat.
At all.
The question was, what is the next like plateau for LVRN?
Yes.
I mean, for me, it's just like I said, like, I want to move all these niggas out the way. These niggas are just like making this thing harder than it needs to be. When I say this thing as in music, because there's a lot of niggas just throwing bullshit out there, and it's clogging up, you know, like good music, right? It's clogging up people that are actually talented. It's clogging up the people that actually have something to say. It's clogging up a lot of shit, and like, you know, so for me, you know, we're getting this money and we're trying to find a way to move all of them out the way. Best marketing.
Yes.
You know, the biggest artists. You know what I'm saying? Like the best parties. You know what I'm saying? The best experiences. And like controlling and affecting culture and media and really finding our way to really do it and like doing it on the same scale, because I believe, you know what I'm saying? Like I look in the face of, you know, like the chairman at, you know, whatever label, and I'll say, I'm better than you. Only thing that separates us is money. Mm-hmm. That's just how I feel, right? So now I'm just like, all right, cool. Now I'm in the game. So it's just like, back your shit up, young nigga. So that's where I'm at. You know what I'm saying? So that's where we are.
No, that's real. What do y'all feel, because you guys are impacted a lot by R&B, do you feel you contribute to hip hop?
How you feel?
I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like it's black music, it's black excellence. I feel like we're all derivatives of each other. You know what I mean? Hip hop, you know, started out with, you know, people rapping on top of James Brown break beats. So you know what I mean? We're all gospel, hip hop, R&B, blues. All that shit is intertwined. You know what I mean? So I feel like we contribute to each other all the time. Especially, I mean, you know, look at how blended the music is right now. Like we just mentioned Drake, we mentioned Brent Faiyaz. You look at Bryson Tiller. You look at SZA. You look at Summer. You look at, like, they're all inspired by each other. You could hear it in the music.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and also like we clearly obviously affect hip hop, because again, it doesn't matter if you're a street artist, a conscious artist, however you deem yourself, right? Like Future is the biggest artist in Atlanta. Mm-hmm. I don't think that's arguable, right? You know what I'm saying? Cool. In order for him to get that #1, he went to go get Tim's.
Yeah.
Right?
100%.
It's simple as that. Like, if you wanna go do them numbers, you're gonna need the girls. And you know what girls listen to? R&B.
R&B.
You know what I'm saying? So that's just how it crumbles for me. Like, and you know, that's the reason why Drake has been #1 for so long.
For so long. He tapped into that early.
Like niggas haven't realized yet. Like, yo, y'all still making music for niggas? Like, still?
I mean, it goes even in old school. You go back to LL Cool J. LL Cool J is probably the only rapper from the golden era of hip hop who had the run that he had.
This man's name is.
He had a run, he had a 20-year run.
Yeah.
Like 1984 to 2004, like straight. You know what I mean? At some point, you have to say him catering to women has a lot to do with that.
Of course.
No, that's real.
You know what I'm saying?
So
So when you guys aren't making music, what are you up to?
Shit.
for me, I have a bad habit shopping. I'm traveling all the time with my friends. We're doing big trips. You know what I'm saying? Like, for me, it's really living life and experiencing it and spending money.
Yeah, I have a 12-year-old, so you know, when I'm not making music or living in the experience of this business, I'm spending time with him. You know, I like to shop also, but I'm a little older. I went through the phase of the kind of shopping he do. The kind of shopping he does. I went through that phase.
Every time you see Jazze, he got it home. No, I ain't.
Yeah,
Yeah, always. And I told myself this year I was gonna really, you know, because I work a lot. Like I, you know, whether I'm making records, whether I'm curating a party, whether I'm DJing, whether I'm, you know, I'm always doing something. I like to fill my day up with work. And I guess because I'm passionate about work and I love it, so it doesn't feel like work. But I told myself that this year I was gonna really be intentional about like trips and about like kicking it and hanging out with them and really just be intentional about living outside of that bubble. You know what I mean?
Sports too. I'm like, I love to play sports. I think like, I'm just so competitive. So I'm just like, you know, any opportunity I get a second, I'm doing something in sports. And or watching YouTube. I'd be on YouTube
I'm always
all
watching
day.
Watching YouTube, I'm always reading, I'm always, yeah.
Just trying to find inspiration.
No, that's real.
Yeah.
It's definitely important to live life outside of a consuming business like this.
Yeah.
So that's good that you guys got, you know, your safe havens and, you know, your relapse. Any last words and shout outs?
Black dropping an album
March 23rd.
23rd. You know what I'm saying?
Alex, we got Alex on there?
Yeah, Alex is dropping her little EP joint.
The Lex EP.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I mean, listen, follow us at LVRN Graham. I'm Justice Wears Cool Pants.
I'm Bryan Micheal Cox.
And I don't know, man. I'm having shout outs. Shout out my mom. Shout out y'all.
Appreciate
I see y'all
it.
building this from ground. Like I respect it. I always respect it when niggas really get off the porch.
Amongst it all, put yourself on the map. Turn it to a booming operation. Where your focus at? Where your 600 bins? Where your rovers at? Where your